Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, the show where we discuss the latest cryptocurrency news and introduce you to the pioneers and the founders of the space. Today, I'm very kindly joined by a new guest to the stream, Ben from Gvnr. How are we doing?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. I'm doing really well. It's great to be here.
Brilliant. We were just talking off air, and even though it is Friday today, it feels like a Tuesday. I think probably with all the excitement, well, I'm not sure if you can call it excitement, but all the volatility going on crypto Twitter right now. Have you been keeping up with what Trump and Elon have been getting up to?
Yeah, those two have had a big falling out. You got to wonder.
Lovers tip.
Yeah, you got to wonder what file was being opened, what information's been shared to cause a rift that big so quickly. Yeah, hopefully it all settles and kind of smooths over. So, my view is that Elon's much better placed outside of government than inside of government. It's just, he's done a lot to move the needle so far. So let's see how things progress from there.
Yeah, I agree. I think Elon should focus on making the spaceships. It's much cooler than politics.
Yeah, totally.
But brilliant. Guys, before we get into it today, please make sure to slap a like on today's video and subscribe. But Ben, let's get straight into it. Let's ask a little bit about yourself, actually, before we go into Gvnr and the great things that you guys are providing. But what was your journey into Web3?
So I've always been a massive geek, massive geek in technology. Came out of university with a physics degree in quantum physics and medical physics. Wow. Always liked really big problems and had like a very low tolerance for boredom and engaging that kind of space. I ended up building trading systems in London for the best part of my career before moving into like a compliance and regulatory role where I dealt with various different kind of global regulators around the world. And in 2013, I was working for HSBC, and this chap in HSBC Canada put $50 worth of coin into a RoboCoin ATM, which was the world's first Bitcoin ATM.
Yeah. And
my boss at the time came and said, "Ben, go and have a look at this. This is not something that we want to be associated with." So I read the white paper, and it was like, holy moly, Bitcoin is going to change the world. So
super early then, back in 2013.
Yeah, 18 in 2013. Bought my first Bitcoin at $200.
Oh, amazing! Great story there, Ben. And where did it progress through the years? Where did you make the jump to go fully into Web3 and leave the world of Web2 behind?
So I tried 4 years inside the bank to kind of move the needle. And in 2017, when Bitcoin hit 20 grand, it was like, okay, there's a lot of change happening now in the space. There were lots of ICO projects, what I call chapter 1 projects, people like Filecoin, people like Maker, Banker, types of projects. Left the bank then to go into crypto full time, and Gvnr's now fourth project that I've been involved in. So it's it's a real privilege to kind of be doing something that means so much to me and kind of, I think, makes such a difference to people in the world.
Oh, amazing. And let's get straight into Gvnr then. When did the idea come about, and who were the co-founders and the team behind the idea there?
Well, so the idea kind of came about just through the evolution of the space. You go back to kind of when I first kind of encountered Bitcoin in 2013, Bitcoin was a standalone blockchain, and there were lots of conversations about colored coins, about how we could put more utility and functionality into Bitcoin. Then, of course, Ethereum came through. Yeah. We had all the layer 1 competitors like EOS and Tezos and all those early first-gen blockchains, Algorand. And now we've got this framework where we've got kind of competing ecosystems, and all of those competing ecosystems just caused so much fragmentation in the market. And just from like being able to use it, just going and explore, and something that you want to ape into and say, wow, that looks really exciting. How do I get into that? going through that journey of like, oh, right, I've got to go and get a new wallet. I've got to go and get a new gas token. How do I actually kind of just get the stuff that I want when I want it without having to kind of worry about all the different types of fragmentation issues and bridging issues.
Yeah.
So it was really a case of looking at the technology and saying, right, how do we remove the friction? How do we smooth liquidity and unlock liquidity across all these different chains and ecosystems, and just make sure that people can just enjoy the space and do what they want to do. Right now, we're still in the kind of heavy speculation mode within crypto. The major use case is buying something that you think is going to appreciate in value, whether that's an NFT or a token. We're going to come into the space from a completely different angle in the next 18 months, I think, where we're just going to start using it for general kind of stuff. Paying for dinners, paying for Ubers, clearing credit card bills, making international transfers, all that kind of life stuff that you kind of get on. And it's going to be a really exciting change because it's going to bring a lot more people into the space.
Definitely. I'm a big advocate for remittance payments. It's crazy the amount of revenue Western Union generates each year, and it just seems an absolute scam. And I'm looking forward to cryptocurrency evolving into everyday use cases as well. I like how you mentioned there also. There was so much friction between chains. It was difficult. People were not understanding you'd have to make a new wallet and have the gas token. And it's one of the factors that got us into education as well. We thought, it's going to be impossible onboarding the newcomers if you straight away you go, right, you need this wallet, you need to do this, you need to make sure you've got this gas token and make sure it's on the C net, not the main net. And it definitely is, I think, something that we will look back at in the future of cryptocurrency once it is more seamless and a lot more easy. And we go, oh, that was a difficult time back then.
I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword because we need, if we're going to have permissionless open networks, the way that we do that permissionless open network is by having gas tokens and by having frameworks where people that participate and provide a service get paid. Right. So, you need to be able to have staking rewards and various other different types of incentives and mining rewards for people to actually kind of spin up nodes. And, computers are not free and they don't run on fresh air. It all takes energy and money.
It's the backbone of the blockchain.
Yeah, absolutely. People just don't forget. I mean, I was having a conversation with a friend last night. We've all grown up in this environment where you type your desires into the Google box. Now you type them into ChatGPT or Grok or some other kind of AI of your choice. And they don't realize that when they submit that request is going off to thousands of computers doing lots of computational process and work, generating lots of heat just to bring your cat video back to like display on the device of your choice. We've got to pay for that, and the way that we pay for that, I think, is tokenized assets.
Yeah, nail on the head there. It's funny, the same people that were complaining about Bitcoin mining, energy consumption, they're the ones that are using ChatGPT and all of these different protocols every day.
It's a real dichotomy as well between the decentralized positions of money and the shift towards more centralized AI models, where you need to kind of centralize that position to kind of reduce latency and lag and information like that. So the pendulum of technology swings backwards and forwards from bundling and unbundling, and we're just in that kind of next phase now.
Oh, brilliant. Well, looking forward to the next phase. Guys, let me know in the chat if you think we're headed into the next phase and where you think it's headed. But Ben, I'll just pull up the screen here. We'll go over to your website. But let's talk about some of your early accomplishments with Gvnr. What were some of the first features that you developed with the company?
So the vision is big and it's bold.
Mhm.
The vision is current market cap of crypto is $3 trillion. I think that's going to get a lot bigger very quickly with stablecoins. As stablecoins come through, we're going to hit another 3 trillion just in stablecoins very quickly. But because of all this fragmentation means that value cannot move around very easily. And the gorilla in the room was always Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It was always the fact that Bitcoin is 60% of today's market cap, and you cannot easily move that asset around and utilize the value within that. And when you can, the friendly government agencies decide that they've got all sorts of tax liabilities and rules and regulations that say when you do this with your Bitcoin, when you're paying with it, well, that's a disposal, so you have to kind of position that as such. When you kind of wrap it, well, that's a disposal, that's a transfer into another asset, so you've got more capital gains on that perspective. And it's just like every time you try to use or do something with your asset, you fell into this position where you were just like worried that you were going to trigger all sorts of tax events. So I think where we came to is we came to a position of, one, people want to be able to pay with, if they've had a good run on Solana, they want to be able to use the stable coins that they've generated on Solana to acquire assets on other chains without having to go through all the bridging mechanisms. And two, if they've actually acquired something like Bitcoin on the mainnet, be able to use that value without extracting and having to sell that position. So we're now kind of moving in, and Jack Mallard got up on stage in Vegas last week and started talking about his strike loan position, and that's great, but you've still got to give your Bitcoin to Jack. Right?
Yeah.
There's still a trust me, bro position there. You can segregate it as much as you want. You can see it. At the moment, we forget that if it's not your keys, it's not your coins, and that narrative has been lost in so many different ways. And with Gvnr, we're bringing that back, and so there's no bridges, there's no wrapping, there's no third-party dependencies in terms of centralized dependencies. Your control of that full stack, and you can do what you wish with your assets without ever having to relinquish control or governance, hence Gvnr.
Brilliant. No, there's no trust me bros with Gvnr.
Yeah.
But what is the business model behind Gvnr?
So the business model is that it's a DAO structure. It's a structure that we've set up in the Marshall Islands as a non-profit DAO, which is, I think, probably the leading regulatory structure for DAOs at this point in time.
Yeah.
That's really important because it means that any value that is generated by the protocol cannot come up and out of the DAO structure to various different things. Value has to flow down into the protocol and into the token itself. And then you say, right, okay, well, how are you going to structure the token in such a way? And so we've taken the best of Bitcoin, the best of Ethereum, and the best of Maker, and combined all of those elements into one pretty special tokenomics model. And the tokenomics starts with, there were only ever 20 million Gvnr tokens. So we spinal tapped it. It's like, Spinal Tap always talk about going one more. So, this volume number goes up to 11. But we went one down, right? So we went to Bitcoin and we went one down. So we've got 20 million, Bitcoin's got 21. People understand that is a scarce number. We're not going to have millions of tokens vesting every month. And then we looked at Ethereum and said the EIP 1559 deflationary element, it's amazing. People really enjoy that. And every time you use Ethereum, a little tiny piece gets switched out and burnt. And we said, okay, well, what we would like to do is we would like to turn that number up. So turning Bitcoin down, turn Ethereum up. And so what we do is we take the fee structures that's generated through the Gvnr protocol, and we burn 25% of them. And over the course of the next 5 years, that 25% will increase to close to 95% of the fee structure being burned. So that means that all the value goes into the Gvnr token, and you really understand what it is that that value is doing. So with a scarce supply, a heavy deflationary element, and the fact that Gvnr is an abstracted gas token, so every time you do anything on any blockchain, that value flows back into that gas position. We think the tokenomics are just absolutely groundbreaking.
And I can see here on the site as well, you can become a stakeholder in Gvnr. If I just click through to here, we can see here as well, over $103,000 committed at the moment, and there's currently 12 days left to invest. What are some of the benefits for people to get involved here?
Well, it's getting involved in the project early. So this is with the Republic team. The Republic team are a US SEC regulated broker dealer. They're helping us run our pre-sale. We're running it under Reg D, which means that US accredited investors can participate for the first time. Well, I think there are a handful of projects that have gone down this path at this moment in time. It's open to the entire world, unless you're in a sanctioned jurisdiction, obviously. But we really hope that it's kind of this new chapter of tokenomics about what this means, and it's about taking value that can be seen in a protocol as we move into this world, and allowing everybody to kind of participate, because that's what the nature of decentralized protocols mean. It's like everybody needs to be able to operate so that we can remove that trust me bro position and move into a permissionless world.
And brilliant, guys. If you're wanting to have a look at the website and all the links as well, guys, all the links are in the description as we're going along today. If you have any questions, please put them into the chat as well. But we'll go back to, we'll talk about the token a little bit further here as well. What do you think sets the token apart from perhaps some of your competitors? And also going back to, you mentioned the issues with bridges and wrap tokens. Why hasn't the issue been solved yet?
Let me talk about the bridges first, because that's something that I think people really need to understand. So when people move assets and value around, the nature of where they are in the world changes, because the different, and this isn't tax advice, go and have a read of your own kind of position. But, in most Western organizations, countries, when you move an asset or you bridge an asset, that act of bridging or wrapping is seen as a tax event, which, can force capital gains obligations on you. And not a lot of people understand that particular nature of what that means. So the way to get around that is to not bridge and not wrap. And we can do that by having a different framework where instead of using the bridges to take value from one place to another, we can switch that around and say, we can use general message passing to actually control one asset from one chain on another chain, using technology, using the maths. So you never actually move your Bitcoin off that chain. You never pool it. You never segregate it with other people. You always keep control, but you can still utilize that value on another chain. The other reason to do that is because bridges are a systemic risk. I always pick on the Arbitrum guys, and I shouldn't. I need to get an example. Because I love Arbitrum, and the foundation is probably one of the best in the market. But their bridge structure at the moment is a massive systemic risk to the Arbitrum ecosystem. They have as of today, $2.4 billion worth of ETH locked in their contract. Now, that ETH is currently sitting at about $2,500. So when ETH hits 10K, there's $10 billion. Say it hits 12K. There's $12 billion.
Yeah.
That bridge is secured by 9 of 12 multi-sig, which means that every single one of those signers has a $1 billion kidnap risk on their head.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but we've seen over the last couple of weeks a number of different kidnap attempts coming through in Paris and various different parts of the world. Something bad is going to happen if we don't sort these bridges issues. And I don't want to be subject to a position where a multi-sig is causing people's lives to be at risk.
No,
so we have to be able to fragment, ironically, the bridge position into maintaining value in that chain, but without the centralized kidnap risk on a particular bridge.
Yeah. No, it makes complete sense. I didn't realize. I never thought of it in those terms. Like you say, if Ethereum goes up to that, it's a $1 billion risk. Absolutely crazy there.
It doesn't happen with Ethereum per se. I mean, I know we had the fork from the DAO hack back in the early days.
Yeah.
Things kind of positioned, and Vitalik has spoken about. He has spoken about different types of actions that would take place subject to kind of a ransom attack or a nation state trying to attack the mainnet. But the further down the stack that you go from layer 2 to layer 3, the more compromises are often taken in terms of the level of authority, governance, control, structuring that exists around those positions. I mean, some bridges are just a single key.
Yeah.
Not all bridges are the same.
No.
And so we need to get to this position where, through general message passing, we can all control our own assets on every chain without having to bridge.
Brilliant. And Ben, being an advocate of multi-chain usage, where can we expect to see the Gvnr token?
So we are launching the Gvnr token on the Ethereum mainnet. It will be an ERC or equivalent token, so everybody will be able to use it. There's a number of different reasons that we're doing that. One, because we think that Ethereum's probably got the most adoption. It's got the most layer 2, layer 3s associated with it, and therefore it makes it much easier, because we have to think long term. The Gvnr position is about enhancing all of the multiverse of chain ecosystems. And in order to do that, we will collect fees on all of those different chains. And therefore, to get that fee and that value back into the Gvnr, we need to effectively go and collect those fees, collate them, and then move them back into the actual Gvnr position itself, so we can operate the furnace. And the easiest way at the moment, given the ecosystem, is to have a token that's relatively central at its core. So if you look at most positions, you've got an ability to move value between the EVM space. You've got a way to move value between Solana and EVM through CTTP and the Circle USDC position, etc. We expect Tether to put something similar out in terms of a CCTT competitor as well. So we can, at a protocol level, earn value on one chain, move that value back to where Gvnr exists, and then put that value into the furnace so that it buys and burns Gvnr in a completely price agnostic way.
Oh, brilliant, Ben. And for everyone interested to get involved as well, when can we expect TGE? The classic question, when TGE?
I mean, can anybody ever answer that question? Has anybody ever answered that question?
No, definitely not.
I don't know. So one of the Gvnr mantras is say what you're going to do and then do it.
Okay. Yep.
We've said no when, no soon for a long time. That's what we're doing. We're doing things in the right way. We're doing the pre-sale in Republic through a fully regulated kind of platform. We're embracing the US. We're embracing Asia. We want Gvnr to be this global, universal permissionless control. Gvnr is going to be able to control permissionless chains like Bitcoin, but it'll also be able to control more centralized chains and the full spectrum. It works by utilizing MPC to kind of be able to control those various different frameworks. Now, that means that we say what we're going to do, and we do what we're going to say, and we say what we're going to do, and then we do it. And we don't want to be associated with a project that says they're going to launch a token, and then 12 months later, never have launched that token. That is not the Gvnr way. So it will be quick. Following this, it will be quick. And actually, if you read the legals in the Republic documentation, we've legally committed that the token will be live by December this year. So I can say that is I can say when I'm talking about actual dates, there's a hard date in which we've committed to the token being live.
And I've just noticed here as well, there are some bonus perks for higher investments here as well. How much are you looking to raise, Ben?
So we've only got a 2 million cap on this. It's relatively small raise. Again, we're not looking to kind of position this as a $1 billion kind of money grab. This is about building something real and building something that's appropriate. So, what we've done at the moment is build a number of different MVPs. Those MVPs include Just Pay, Just Swap, and the portfolio. The portfolio will have our AI agent wrapped on top of it, which we call the butler. And that butler will go off and do whatever you want to do on any particular chain, and we'll start integrating other different AI agents into that. So it will be able to programmatically control all your assets on any chain, which is really cool. In terms of,
just up here as well. We'll just touch upon the tokenomics, and like I said, guys, if you want to check this out, all the links are in the description below. We've got the core principles here. There's going to be, like you mentioned earlier, 20 million token supply, deflationary, high float, low FDV. What will be the FDV on TGE?
$50 million on TGE. So the VC round was $40 million.
Yes, yeah.
The whitelist position is below that at 35. TGE will be targeting 50. And there's a kind of a full vesting position where it's a high float on TGE, and then a very rapid vesting position. The entire 20 million will be vested within 18 months.
Ooh, brilliant. What were some of your thoughts behind the decision making there?
Cliffs and long lockups and long vesting positions just horrible for market participants. We looked at all the various different token models. If you just scroll down to the chart that we kind of just saw there compared to competitors, just scroll up.
This one here.
Yeah. So there's our Gvnr 20 million compared to our competitors. Wormhole, Layer Zero, and Axelar. The vesting process on those is just it's not something I want to buy until it's fully vested.
Yeah, exactly. We even discuss it a lot in our Discord amongst the traders, and we look at the calendars for different unlocks. Absolutely. And it's not something that for someone getting involved in a pre-sale or an early investor, it can. I think times have changed from years ago when people could get away with these long lockups and high cliffs. But yeah, now people are a bit more clued up to it, and I think this is the better way forward for both parties.
It's a dichotomy. So that everybody wants the meme coin, full liquidity, full floating liquidity, out there in the marketplace. The lawyers don't. The lawyers want you to vest the team as long as possible. As an industry and as marketplace, we never talk. We never talk about the amount of Bitcoin that is still to be mined. We always talk about the amount of Bitcoin that's on exchange.
Yeah.
We're talking about that free flow position that's coming through. When you're looking at something like that, you have to realize that if people see intrinsic value in a protocol or something, then they're going to kind of look to position that in a different light. So that's why, that's why we chose 20 million. That's why it's fast vest, because we expect this thing that we are building to be providing value into the world, and that value to actually go into the token. So people shouldn't want to sell it. We've got all these memes that have been generated by the community. Sailor saying you never sell your Gvnr. And it's brilliant, because you should never sell your Bitcoin and you should never sell your Gvnr.
Brilliant. And Ben, on those wise words, we will wrap up there for today. Really appreciate you coming on the stream today. I hope to have you on back very soon as well. What can we expect and look forward to with Gvnr? And also, where can people find you? Where can they get involved in the community?
So we're on Gvnr DAO on X and Gvnr Official on Telegram. Come and join in, come and kind of have a view. What can you expect next? A permissionless, over-collateralized DeFi loan in Bitcoin. So think about a MakerVault. You load that MakerVault with Ethereum and you mint yourself DAI. You'll be able to load your vault with Bitcoin and mint yourself a stable coin. So you'll never have to sell your Bitcoin. You'll always own it, and you'll be able to extract value in a tax-free way.
Brilliant. Guys, make sure to give them a follow. Ben, thank you so much. I'll also do a big shout out to Flight Free, who actually introduced us. Flight Free only work with the best, so I'm glad they introduced us. Guys, please make sure to go give them a follow and slap this video a like, and I will see you all very soon. Ben, thank you very much. Take care.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Woo, let's